Yeah, I know. It looks like the back of a sow bug, or the underside of a lobster tail, or the belly of a crab, or the carapace of some other sort of insect, of an insect. But I just had to do this. You know, I didn't have much of a direct plan. I just scribbled some stuff in. I couldn't leave it alone. There's so little white left on this painting that it just has to go. It's so, I've jumped into it. You know, I like it. I hope I can sort of, reconcile this with the rest of it. I think I can. But, yeah, anyway, it was necessary. Mentally. You can't just sit in front of it and say, well, you know, I think I might like to do this. And then eventually you touch it and you go, oh yeah, that worked out really well. And then you get to the point where, well, you know, I better finish my idea. And it may change, you know. It may change. It probably will. It always does. You know, I'm not very reliable, so, you know, it's definitely going to change. But I like it. And I'm going to get rid of this white, because once that white is gone, holy mackerel, I just find it so much easier to read my colors and my values once I don't have anything glaring at me, you know. Well, we got the painting delivered, and the manager of the gallery seemed very happy with it. I'm glad that job's over with. So, okay, I'm going to have to work with a few incongruencies on the rocks that are at the bottom here, but that's fine. I'm not worried about that right now. The branches off of this tree, it looked a little bit Halloweenish, a little bit too much like a crown of thorns, you know, so I decided to take the foliage that was behind this branch and bring it to the front. Also, what I think I'd like to do is I've mixed up a bit of raw umber and yellow ochre, mostly raw umber. And so we're in with sort of the color here and the hue here, you know, maybe more accurately here. And I have a couple of larger spaces here. This is all fine, I don't need to do anything there, I think. But I've got a couple of larger spaces here and I'd like to break them up. You know, that's kind of equidistant and that's kind of equidistant. So I think I'd like to just indicate some trunk in the background there. And I'm not going to worry about sticking to it too closely. I think we might just throw these in and paint right over them, and we might end up finding them useful. But if I haven't suggested them to start with, then obviously we won't even have the option, or I'll tend to forget about them even being there. So okay, there's a bit of a, you know, I'll just run it right through right now for the moment. I'm putting branches on, I gotta watch that. Don't want to get too silly. These trees are together. I'm going to take this tree trunk and put it on the other side of that fence. It's going to be behind that fence. This one is going to be in front of that fence. Okay, and let me just see. Maybe we'll just have a short bit showing there. And maybe hint of something there. And maybe maybe something there. You know, I don't want them all straight, but want some interest. I'd like some interest to show. And let's see, do we need anything there? We don't need it, but maybe what I'll do is just put in there, just in case we can use it. I don't know, it's just a thought. No, I think I better stop with that. You know, some of those bits I'll leave, some of them I'll get rid of. But, you know, even though those trees are pushed back, I'd still like to indicate a few trunks. Okay, well, you know, I have tubes of paint kicking around that I haven't even looked at for years. Many were just bought because my dad and I at one point bought out a bunch of paint from an art store that was closing. And some are not good, some will be good. But I know I have some, or did have some Prussian blue kicking around. So I think I'm going to dig it up, if I have it, and I'm going to play with that. Put a little on my palette and see if I like it, and maybe use some Prussian blue in the sky here. I don't want the sky to be too dark. I don't want it to be hard. So whether I use ultramarine blue, I would have to mix it with something maybe to go a little more purple, or soften it with a bit of yellow ochre or raw umber or something. Or if I use cobalt blue, I would have to use a little bit of yellow ochre. I'd have to get away from the stronger cartoon colors, which is fine. But just for the fun of it, I'd like to play with some Prussian blue. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, today's a short one, I think, and didn't have a lot of time to paint. But I'll upload this. Next thing we're going to do, I think, is jump into the sky with a knife. See you soon.